Lyric Swinton, SNME Radio. So earlier tonight, it was announced officially that AEW Dynasty will be happening in April. And so in the past, a lot of AEW pay-per-views have been named significantly. You talked about Wrestle Dream being Antonio Inoki, All in London being tribute to the original All In. So what's the thought process behind Dynasty specifically?
Thank you for asking. Thank you. I'm really glad you asked that question. Thank you. I'm of the mind that it's a very important year for AEW. We've got, I believe, the best roster in wrestling, and in the weeks to come, the roster will be showcased, and I think everyone will see that AEW in 2024 is only going to continue to grow and build and establish ourselves. I've got really great plans for the next couple weeks for all the fans in Atlanta. You're going to want to be in Atlanta. Of course, we've talked a lot about big business in Boston, and very excited to go to Toronto and have very special things planned in the coming weeks and after that. But certainly these coming weeks, Atlanta, Boston, Toronto, we have great things planned for you without saying specifically what they are, but I'm very excited about that. And the run to this next pay-per-view, it's going to be very special, and it feels like we're building that dynasty. You know, we talked about Ospreay and Takeshita being like Jordan and Pippen playing against each other. And I think it feels like we're building our own dynasty here with Will Ospreay arriving, the quality of the wrestling up and down the card. It's never been better. Tonight, I think, was the best pay-per-view we've ever done. And to establish a new brand on pay-per-view, it bodes really well for us. Last year, we launched some new events. This is a new event. I'm not planning to launch a ton of new events this year because last year was so successful, and I felt like we found a sweet spot. I do feel like we've had Revolution as a tentpole event in AEW that year in, year out is delivered. Last year, it's been voted as the best pay-per-view of the year, Revolution 2023, and I think it's the front runner for the best event this year. It'll certainly be hard for anybody to top, including us. It was just phenomenal. But we're going to keep trying. How do you top a moment like that? But on the other hand, right now, the roster is getting so strong. And even though we all are very grateful now, we can look back at these past 3 years of staying, and we're going to keep wrestling here. And Will Ospreay sitting here, and Will Ospreay being a part of AEW, that's a huge step for us. And we're going to continue to take huge steps. And you saw tonight returns. We talked about Pac coming back to AEW. There's a lot of great things to look forward to. And the roster of women and men here is only going to continue to get better. And some of that is new additions, and some of that is bringing back talent that's been injured and out. And I'm really excited about that. And I think people are going to see that AEW is the best roster in the world. And as we approach April 21st, a new franchise, Dynasty, which I'll be honest, it just felt like the right name to me for where we're at as a company and where we're going as a company, that we're establishing a dynasty here. This is an important year for us. And I'm very proud of what we did tonight. And we're going to go off that momentum and establish April 21st, a new event. And it's very fitting to do it in St. Louis, a city with this phenomenal tradition of pro wrestling, one of the greatest histories in the sport, really, I think, in pro wrestling, what has happened in St. Louis. It's great for AEW to go there, and it's also fulfilling a promise I made to St. Louis that we would bring a great pay-per-view event there, and this is going to be a great pay-per-view event, and it will have been worth the wait for St. Louis, I promise. And I'm very excited about bringing that April 21st Dynasty to pay-per-view for AEW. Thank you.
Lyric Swinton, SNME Radio. So you talked earlier a couple of weeks ago about bringing back the ranking system as a way to get the best opponents for the AEW World Championship. Today, we saw an amazing match, one that you were a part of, and also Will Ospreay and Takeshita. What are your thoughts on the growing, strong talent pool in All Elite Wrestling and what it means to be world champion during this time with so much talent?
I mean, it's indicative of what AEW has always stood for. You know, we go out, we find the best wrestlers in the world, and we bring them together to find out who is the best wrestler in the world. Currently, that is me. But on my heels are some of the greatest grapplers to ever step foot in the ring. You know, when we have acquisitions, men like Will Ospreay, how can you not be excited about the future of this company? And, you know, once again, we've set up a protocol. Will Ospreay is new here. He's a fantastic, dynamic athlete, has had tremendous success everywhere he's been. But until he has that success here, I don't need to worry about it.
Lyric Swinton, SNME Radio, you talked about the ranking system for your title. How do you feel about your protege's current ranking on those rankings, Mariah May?
I think she's doing just fine. She's doing great. I'm very proud, doing a great job, but she's not quite ready. So let's not confuse her with those kinds of questions. Okay.
Thank you, Sting, for an incredible career. Question for both you and Toni. So a lot of people have always talked about AEW's usage of legends and veterans, and there's so many people above the age of 50 who are honestly doing some of the best work of their careers in AEW. So for Toni, what do you hope to leave as a legacy for how wrestlers are treated, you know, in the final stages of their career? And for Sting, what made AEW so special for you to want to do your retirement run here?
Well, first of all, I take it on a case-by-case basis, but tonight, first and foremost, this is the greatest case of all. This is the greatest of all careers, the career that spans the most history. And there's a generation of wrestlers. There's a generation of wrestling when wrestling was the biggest thing in the world that a lot of us grew up on. And there's one person going into tonight that was still wrestling. And for the past 3 years, he's carried this place. We're very fortunate the life Sting has pumped into this place, that we were the final stop on what is the greatest career of all time. So first and foremost, on a case-by-case basis, I just think of everything. It's in front of us. And tonight, the most important thing we've ever done was to give Sting the greatest send-off we could.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. I mean, the very first conversation I had with Toni really said a lot, because he just had something about him that just told me, I am going to make sure that you retire the right way, that you're going to go out the right way. I don't like the way you've been treated over here or over there. You will not be treated like that here. And I saw an opportunity, liked Toni, and I liked all the wrestlers, male, female, the whole package. So a lot of the same behind the scenes people from WCW way back when. And there's the brand just really seemed to fit me. I was their brand and they were mine. It's like, you know, with WCW all those years, and then to be with TNA, it kind of felt that way, but not really. It never really fully got there for me. And then WWE, it was never quite fully there for me. But this here, the whole package, I had just a great appreciation for the whole package, and what a good fit. And I was right.